What's good, everybody? Welcome back to Algebra 1 with Mr. Peters. In today's order of operation video, we're not focusing on the steps to solve, but we're focusing on analyzing the problem when we first start so that we know what the problem is asking us. So with that, let's get started for today. Biggest issue I've noticed with order of operations, guys, is that sometimes students just jump into the problem and they start doing PEMDAS without understanding what the problem is asking. So when we look at this problem, it's telling us that we're going to take this 3 and multiply it by whatever our answer is on the inside of those brackets. Now, before we can multiply, we're going to have to solve this operation, and then subtract. So what does that mean? So right here, we don't need to distribute. We could just add these two, then multiply. So I'm going to have 3, and then in parentheses, or in the bracket, I should say, 2 times the answer of 7 plus 3, which is 10. And we are going to subtract the answer of 5 times 6 minus 2, which is 4. Now, before I go to the next step, a lot of times what students will do is they will go ahead and multiply this without taking into account that negative. Just make sure you add the negative in there so that you don't get the problem wrong. Now, we still can't multiply by 3 because we didn't solve everything on the inside. So now I'm going to go, I have 20 minus 20, because that's what we get when we multiply. And now we can multiply 3 by the answer on the inside, which is 0. And as a result, my final answer is just going to be 0. Now, problem number 2, this one becomes tricky just because of the placement of our exponents. So what they're going to do is throw 2, 3 exponents in there. Some are going to be inside the parentheses, some are going to be outside. That is why we need to analyze the problem to make sure we know what's going on. So here, we're going to subtract what's inside, then take it to the second power. So once I do this, I get 3 squared, and I know 3 squared is just 9. Now the difference here is that we're going to take 4 to the third power by itself, and then we're going to subtract 5 to the second power, right? And just remember that there's a parenthesis on the outside. So even if the answer from this is positive, we're still going to subtract. And if the answer was negative, once you subtract a negative number, right? Let's say this is 5, it turns into addition. So that's important. So now we have 64 minus 25, right? We simplify even more, and this is going to give us positive 39. But because of that subtraction sign in front, we're actually going to subtract it. And in the division, we just bring down at the end. So now at this step, we're looking at the problem. Division comes first. We have 9 minus 39 divided by 3, which is, 13. And once we simplify, my final answer would be -4. So when we're dealing with order of operations, guys, I know by now you know the steps, PEMDAS, but just make sure that in the beginning problems, you look at the problem and understand what exactly is it asking you to do as you simplify. And we really hope this video was helpful for you. Quick review on order of operations. Thank you guys so much for joining us today with Algebra 1 with Mr. Peters. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, leave comments for future videos you'd like to see on our channel, or if you guys had a question from today's video. Thank you for joining.